Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today, before I get into the topic, I just wanted to reiterate again that our live show is not going to be on Wednesday nights anymore. We had some scheduling issues due to my son's college schedule, my other son's schedule with high school. So we are actually going to be switching it to Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same show, same length, same everything. Just instead of Wednesday nights, it will be Thursday nights from this point forward. I do apologize for those of you who are only able to see it on Wednesday nights. We've gotten an increase in actual viewership. We had almost around 100, I think, live active watchers. So very glad to have the numbers going up. Same with view count and all. But today's topic is getting dirty literally with eBay. eBay is not a clean job for the most part. If you sell what I sell, you do the digging and stuff for stuff like we sell across the board. You go to thrift stores, you got to understand that this is not a clean job. There is a lot of dirt and grime. You can get cut, you can get other injuries. I've damaged some ligaments in my foot from it. I know people have got broken legs and broken arms from doing eBay. Many lacerations and cuts, mostly with glass and sharp objects. And you're going to get dirty, literally with grease and grime if you're really digging in and finding the good stuff. You're going to go in basements, you're going to go in attics, you're going to go in old barns and garages where there's grease and oil. I never wear nice clothing when I go out and do it. I literally have talked about this before. I have a separate set of clothing I just use when I'm going out hauling, because I don't want to ruin my good clothing. I hate when I ruin a new shirt that I just got that I really like. My shirts are a little different. I like, oddball stuff. And I really hate when I hunt something down that I really like or find something finally that I like and then I ruin it real quick. Even boxing up, I'll cut a shirt sometimes with the knife that I use. Haven't cut myself with the knife or anything. Even like the tape dispenser I use, I've had some comments that it is dangerous. Yes, it is dangerous. But if you're careful, it's fine. But you can cut yourself across the board on pretty much anything you're handling. You're handling broken items sometimes. You're digging through boxes. You're randomly sticking your hands in places, that you have no idea what's in there. Rule of thumb is always get a tetanus shot, just FYI. I know people don't like shots and think that might be an added fee, an added step up that you don't really need. I get one just in case. I keep them up to date. It's just something you want to do, a tetanus shot. So I know, off the record here, that's what I do. Whatever you do with that's your call, however dirty you want to get. But if you're not really getting dirty, even on antique stores and flea markets and stuff, you're going to be laying on floors and digging down for boxes. I've knelt down in pretty much every antique mall, antique store I've ever been to at some point, at least a couple of times through my visit in those stores. But I've got pairs of jeans that I only wear for hauling. They might have a spot on them or something like that, because I do try to separate these. I really honestly hate, and I know a lot of people do too, hate when they find something they like and then you ruin it, or you spill something on it, or you're cleaning up something and you get cleanser or something on it, or some kind of bleach scrubber or something like that. So, keep that in mind. The only thing, there's a few areas that you might not get dirty is drop shipping, but it's a flooded market. You can try it if you want. That's your call. I'm not going to criticize it or anything, but it's not for me. It is going away from everything I see and all the evidence I see, because the companies that you're drop shipping from are going to stop that so they can get those sales. It's a no-brainer. If you can't see that that's what businesses are going to do, you better look into it much better. Same with retail arbitrage. We still do retail arbitrage, but you're not just going to get yourself dirty. You're going to get your car dirty. I don't know how many times I've gotten my car dirty. I don't know how many times I've actually damaged like the interior of a car, or the plastic shrouding in the back of a van or something like that. That's going to happen. You're going to bring something into the house and put a box down on your carpet, and at some point you might have something dripping out of that box that's going to damage and stain your carpet too. You're going to scratch something running it down a stairwell or something, or setting it down, or leaning against the wall. I mean, there's so many other things that can happen. You might drop something and crack a tile in your kitchen or something. I mean, all of these things are possibilities. And I've talked about glassware in China when you buy it too. We break maybe 10% of it. I know that seems pretty high, but I'm not a China person. We don't have a lot of room for stuff like that, or storage-wise. Just basically because we sell so much other stuff, I haven't needed to branch out into China. We've actually eliminated more than half of what we sold. And just like clothing, we're eliminating big items, sticking it to the small stuff, because then I can keep listing without worrying about space. But anyway, you can break something in your house and you can cut yourself. I've talked about being careful. I've talked about covering your business, and again, you're going to get dirty and get hurt in these instances sometimes too. So just keep that in mind. You might be in a garage pulling something off a top shelf at a pick you're going to, and a bunch of stuff falls on you, and you have to go to the emergency room. And you can't say it doesn't happen, because I personally know several people that this happened to. And as I said, I've torn a ligament in my toe that not incapacitated me, but put me out a little while in some pain for more than a year, almost 2 years actually. So, I have a business owner's policy as well too. Now, I've talked about that before. I'm not a spokesman for any insurance company, but I guarantee you at some point there's going to come a need, if you get big like in a status like us or some of the other sellers on here, where you're going to need a BOP, a business owner's policy. So, just keep that in mind. That is your coverage. If you get hurt on the job, it's going to cover you from lost wages. So you are your boss. You are your own company. So if you're not working, who's working for your company if it's a one-man show? So, I honestly recommend everybody getting a business owner's policy once you hit a couple $1,000s, especially if you go to it being your full-time income. When you're working for somebody else, chances are you have insurance. At least you're covered by workman's comp when you're working for somebody else. It's your own business. So at this point, you need your own coverage too. Workman's comp, even if it was your business, may cover your, injuries, but it's surely not going to cover your lost wages when you own the business. So keep that in mind. There's companies like AFLAC and stuff. I wouldn't mess with that. There are many other options out there. It's going to take you a lot of calls to find a BOP. But again, this is a dirty, grimy job for the most part. I don't mind getting dirty. I feel like I'm actually working and I'm, exercising while I'm doing stuff what I do. So I never mind it. But again, you're going to get dirty, your hands, your clothing, whatever the case may be. Wear a pair of boots if you're going picking too, because you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to bump your toe into something. My foot is a perfect example. I know many people who have lost fingernails being slammed and stuff, or fallen, or climbing, or whatever the case may be. But if you're not climbing up, you're not pulling stuff off shelves, you're not digging in those basements under shelves and the grime and the dirt, spider webs and all, you're not really looking hard. You're not looking outside the box. It's got to be a job that you don't mind getting dirty to do this, to make this succeed. It's just a fact of it for us, Everybody who goes out with me, who's picked with me, or I've met out somewhere or done anything with, I crawl all over the place. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care how crazy I look. I find the stuff doing that. If you want to see, what other people are finding, from the advice that I give, join my Facebook group. There's a ton of people finding stuff in there. There's a ton of stuff out there. But you've got to be willing to get dirty and get on your hands and knees and crawl around if that's what it takes. Grown person or not, an adult, a child, whatever the case may be, this is a business. I don't care what somebody thinks if I'm actually working at the time. That is what I'm doing. I'm out there digging around looking for this stuff. So, I don't worry about criticism when somebody looks or I'm digging stuff. I'm the one who's going to pull out the high dollar item that they missed because they were unwilling to get dirty or to get down on their hands and knees and find something, or they didn't want to go in the garage. They saw, webs or something. I was bit by a brown recluse and spent 2 months bedridden with not a good prognosis at one time. And I still dig where spider webs are and stuff like that. It's a money issue. I'm very careful now, obviously, and I don't stick my hands in everywhere. I'll pull something out and dig through it. But, you've got to do this. This is what it takes to find those oddball items or those scarcities, those oddities in someone's garage or basement. And let's say there's an estate sale or garage sale, for example, and you see stuff in there that's not technically on sale, but it's just packed in areas. Ask about it. Tell them you'll be willing to get that stuff down. I've had, sales I went to and I asked about records. And, I got some up in the attic, but I really didn't feel like getting them down. It's a big hassle. You got to walk up these steps. They usually go into a story why they didn't get them down. I offer for free, even if I don't buy them, to pull some of those out to at least give them opportunity to sell them if they'll allow me to look at them. It depends on the situation. I don't always do this. But again, you're out on somebody else's property. You can't technically go ahead and sue somebody if you get hurt by doing something stupid. You got to cover yourself. your whole business would shut down if you're not covered. So keep that in mind. You know, it's not like working for a company where if you don't show up, they can just call somebody in. It's you. You can't call yourself in. It's you. You are the only person working for your company. So you've got to take that seriously. You've got to understand that you have to have some form of coverage if that is your only form of income. Because a car accident, let's say you're driving down the street to a pick and you get in a car accident. You have no car, you have no, your leg's broken, your arm's broken, you're in the hospital for a month, your business is done. Right off the bat, your business is done. What are you going to do for a month of income? For the most part, most people can't afford that. We're lucky enough to the point where I don't have to worry if a month or two goes by. You've got to have backup income. You've got to get to that point, but you can't risk yourself to do that. Again, once you get to a full-time status on eBay, Amazon, wherever you are selling on, and you are your own person working for yourself as a sole proprietor, a one-person operation, cover yourself. A BOP. So, I'm not going to drill that anymore. I've talked about it many times. There's very few people that have actually gone out and get it. And there's even fewer, even YouTubers who talk about eBay and Amazon and reselling that actually have a BOP as well, too. It's an over expense, they think, but it's really not. It's a key, important issue, especially if you're bringing merchandise in from any other source that's not yours, like a consignment facility or a transfer location or anything along that line, or even if you ever have people to your location for business. Now, for us, my license doesn't allow it. I don't have anybody to the house. I don't have anybody to my other facilities, storage building, or anything like that ever. I just don't want to run the risk. But if you're doing that, you're bringing people to the house, you're running any kind of business out of your facility, and they get hurt, again, you could be done. Especially if you're either renting, even if you own it. It doesn't matter. Your renter's insurance might not cover it. Your homeowner's insurance might not cover it because it would be a business expense tied to the residential facility you're living in. So just keep that in mind as well, too. There's more to it than just running it and saying, I don't need insurance. You drive with a car with insurance because if something happens, you could be SOL. So you got to do the same thing with your business. As I said, it's a dirty job. You're going to hurt yourself at some point. It's just a given. I have hurt myself many times, and most people I know have at least cut themselves. I've had friends had stitches, broken legs, broken arms, as I said. I've seen a friend who dislocated a shoulder climbing down from a barn attic. So, things do happen, You can't hold the person's house that you're at accountable for it, especially if you volunteer to do it and say, I'll take responsibility. Don't go back on your word. Be a person of honor when you're doing this. So anyway, that's what I have. Again, it's a dirty job. You got to be able to get your hands dirty and not look down upon that. So anyway, Don, the Auction Professor, hopefully you liked it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas. If you did, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon up top to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.